1995 was the last time this many Americans identified as Republicans, according to a new Gallup poll. That was right after the 1994 Republican Revolution, of course, when the GOP had just taken control of the House of Representatives for the first time in 40 years. CNN's senior data reporter, Harry Ensign, is here. Harry, you see Gallup shift in political identification as possibly part of a trend?
Yeah, I do. Look, simply what Gallup is asking is, are you a Democrat, Republican, or independent? And then among independents, which way do you lean towards the Democrats or Republicans? Look at what we see so far this year. Now, there are a lot of numbers on the screen that you'll see, but here's the key thing to take away from it among Gallup is, look, back in the beginning of 2021, a lot more people identified as Democrats and Republicans. Democrats had a 9-point advantage on party affiliation. But flip forward to the end of the year, October to December, what do you see? You see that now more people are identifying as Republicans than Democrats by 5 points. Now, the question I had was whether or not this poll was an outlier. So I looked at the Kaiser Family Foundation polling as well. And what do you see there? You see basically the exact same trend line. You go back to January, March of 2021, and you see that Democrats had this large 14-point lead. Jump ahead to October and December, and now that Democratic advantage has smushed considerably down to just 3 points. So the same trend on Gallup and Kaiser Family Foundation, with Americans moving towards the Republican Party, at least in how they affiliate themselves.
And you're seeing this shift in party identification trending along the same lines as President Biden's approval numbers.
It's exactly right. Why are more people identifying now as Republicans than Democrats, or at least in the Gallup poll and overall the shift towards Republicans? And I would make the argument it's because folks really just don't like the job that Joe Biden is doing as president. So if you look at Joe Biden's net job approval rating, what you see is in the beginning of 2021, it was plus 16 points. Many more people approved than disapproved. Jump ahead to October and December, what do you see? Minus 10. Many poor people disapproved than approved. And that is occurring at the same time where that large Democratic advantage on party affiliation, which was 12 points in the average of polls in January, March, actually switched to a GOP advantage of +1 in the average of the Kaiser and Gallup polling.
What about independent voters?
Yeah, if you ask independent voters, which way do you lean? This, I think, is the key nugget, right? Which is they are the swing voters. And what you see now is in October to December, they are more likely to lean Republican than Democratic by +5 percentage points. From January to March, the Democrats had a 9-point advantage. So very clearly, independents moving towards the Republican Party.
So should we expect something of a Republican romp in the midterm elections this November?
Historically speaking, what we see over the last 4 cycles, if you look at 2006, 2010, 2014, and 2018, when Democrats have a clear advantage on the generic ballot, they win. In both 2006 and 2018, you look at 2010, 2014, looks a lot like the polling now. The GOP won. And here's the other thing to keep in mind is if you ask voters if they're Democrats or Republicans, which way are they going to vote in the midterms, the fact that more people are identifying as Republican now is key because people basically vote along the lines of how they affiliate themselves.